portrait mode was on lock for some odd reason, and so hopefully you didn't catch any of that. Hey, welcome back. Um, so the other video seemed to go over kind of well, good, whatever you want to call it. Went over well. I'm nervous again, but I'll get my wits about me. Just give me a second. As you can see, this photo album is labeled final, man. Because, man, I have done this so many times. I've tried in so many ways to do it and to get the message out. So I'll continue to try if you continue to watch. It's kind of funsies. I'll jump right in. A lot of you guys probably want to see what this is. I know I touched on it in the other video, but this is the headstone. It's pretty big. It's right behind where my mother and sister, they were both cremated. Cremated. I'm sorry, I have the giggles. Let me stop. And buried together there. And the headstone behind says Prince, that they passed in 92 and 93. Now, every St. Patty's Day, I go out and let balloons out for my mama's born day, because that was her born day, is her born day. And a friend of mine did that shirt. And there's the balloons getting stuck in the tree, because yes, that's how it goes. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys that real quick before I jumped right in. And also, you know, just to say how much I appreciate you guys coming here. I put Prince Rogers Nelson in the tagline so that people will come and watch. Because as I tell you in my videos, as the song says, the question of you, shall I remain upright or get down and crawl? All of the questions in my life will be answered when I decide which road to choose. What is the answer to the question of you? So obviously you guys that are coming here and watching are curious to the question of you and your soul, and why we're here. And that's who the world knew as Prince Rogers Nelson was, is the one, the creator. And, you know, I just wanted to read a brief Psalm 100. And as we know, some may not know, the Psalms, they were written by King David. And this one says, a psalm of thanksgiving. Call out to Hashem, all the earth. Serve Hashem with gladness. Come before him with joyous song. Know that Hashem, he is God. He made us and we are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. For Hashem is good, his kindness endures forever, and from generation to generation is his faithfulness. That's why I'm here. That's why this YouTube channel is here. And I give thanks. And, you know, if you don't know how yet, all you got to do is talk to him like your best friend. It's really fun. It's the best, the only therapist you'll ever need. It's your own inner voice, your soul voice. And when you connect it with truth to your creator, then it's just a blessing beyond anything that I could tell you with my simple words. But here I try. So anyway, there's that. And this was me practicing. If you guys have watched the other videos, I'm assuming you have. I'm just going to show you some blips here. I decorated up my practice area there. I had some, you know, LED lights and the keyboard and the shirt and so forth. And there's me and my glamorous wanting to be third eye girl self at the time. I practiced outside even. You can see I was practicing, you know, the scales and different things like that. I was watching YouTube and learning about various things, circle of fifths, perfect sevens. You know, I show you the blips because, as I mentioned before, the screenshots that I have, I don't know how many thousands, maybe my Google will tell me, of pictures. So I just want you to see that there was practice. You know, to go back and clip all this in just for you to watch would take a maniac, and that's not me. These are all screenshots. It takes some organization to get them in order to present, but yeah. This is a quote. I don't know who made it. Let's see. The most prolific thing to me about Prince was not only was he made the most vibrant example of black genius that I ever seen, but he was able to negotiate God and sex in his subject matter in a way that we had never seen before, said the music icons. Oh, there you go. Let me call out Angela Davis. Every song was either a prayer or foreplay. So anyway, I'm not going to show you each and every picture. I'm going to skim. these pictures, they go in order, you guys, because as I went through my Google to make these slideshows, the pictures go in order. I just had to, organize them a little bit. So again, was reading this book. Excellent, excellent book. Takes a pretty high reading level, I will tell you that. Now, this is interesting because this is a picture that my daughter was painting, and then she sent it to me. And then I sent it back to her from my phone with these areas shaded in, and what I told her was it reminded me of the nebula Orion, where we saw what has been presented as a Virgin Mary with a womb in it, and then some other things going over there on the side. And that's why I kept in this picture here, because if you guys didn't know what I'm talking about, this area here is what we were talking about. It looks like a pregnant woman. Here, let me move my Bible. And it's on my keyboard where I can zoom in. 1 second. So this area always looked to me, this is the Orion M42 Nebula, as it's called, and it always looked to me like a pregnant woman holding a baby. And then from my life after life experience, I remember something about being told that I always called it the bubble star in the Orion Nebula. You'll hear me mention it all the time. I will try to slow down my speech so I don't stumble over my own tongue. I'm always trying to rush these videos. I don't know why, but anyway, there's so much to say. That's why. You guys ever look into these nebula photos, and NASA and everything would have you believe that they're just gases and stars and this and that, but they're not. They're representations of souls. And that's what I meant to say there, was that when my daughter painted that picture, it represented to me that very nebula. Now, if they were beside each other, maybe you could see it. So that is really cool, right? Right. What do you see here? These are pictures of me in the bedroom the night I was practicing the question of you instead of Purple Rain. And they're snapshots of the 6-minute video because I didn't have room on my whole media card to keep the whole 6-minute video. So I went through and took some screenshots, which came out looking really interesting, because this is me with my head flipped upside down, and I had on some necklaces, but my hair came out very strange, as well as I'm not really sure what that is back there on the wall. I've never been able to figure that out. And I just darkened it up a little bit so you guys could see how kind of cool they came out, but it wasn't because I did it intentionally. Now this one, I did have a microphone because I just did. I had instance to have a microphone. And it looks like I'm holding the gun. If you ever used to see the old school, the shadowy type depiction of ours truly holding the gun microphone, that's what that reminded me of, and it made me laugh. Okay, so before I start blabbing, I'm going to go back. What that is, you guys, is I want to tell you, again, if you haven't watched any other videos and you're like, what the heck is going on? This is the stuff that started happening to me in the spring of 2020. And I started playing the keyboard, learning Purple Rain, reading this book, getting these paintings from my daughter, practicing the question of you. The spring of 2020 was real weird and rainy, and I'll show you some of the storms here in a minute. There, see right there. I touched on them in yesterday's video, or whatever day that was. But what I was also doing was going up to the park near my home, walking the labyrinth, and I went and it was being real reflective, and I made a 5-minute video, which, sorry. And I made a very reflective 5-minute video about life and what was happening with COVID, and how I felt the world was changing, and just stuff like that. So it's in order here. Now look at this thing I posted. We're always talking about the infinity, the 808, the Maui. We are all connected, peoples, trees, animals. I posted that on my Facebook. This picture is in here, you guys, because you might be like, what the heck? But I put it in here to jog my memory at this time, because things were so interesting in my life. I felt like I was growing angel stub wings, and I had someone take this picture of my neck. And if you can see this tiny little bump right here, I felt like I had little angel wing nubs growing out. So now, as it goes on, it gets a little more serious. If you've watched the other videos, you've heard me talk about the shipping containers. Well, this is the military.com I put these pictures in here to jog my memory because in the spring of 2020, I noticed this military.com thing that was talking about shipping containers and how the Army had a surplus of them and how they could practice around their Army. And it would let them get the sense that they were training underground, or that our next warfare would be fought in underground tunnels and places where they couldn't breathe and they needed all the respirators and how much they were, and how much was going to Korea, how much was going to Russia, etc. So I was watching that. So that's why I'm always mentioning that the shipping container phenomenon that we find our East and West Coast in right now with the excess shipping containers sitting there, it just feels very Trojan horse-esque to me, you guys. And then what's more is I went to go share this article on Facebook in the spring of 2020. And because the respirators were all the PPE, we don't have any respirators to spare and everything like that. But I went back to share this article and the word respirator had been changed to handheld breathing apparatus. So that is, some handy dandy magic work right there. Anyway, the thunderstorm that came in, I should say lightning storm, you guys, that came in was super duper intense. I actually have a video somewhere here where you can see the lightning. It might be this one. Nope, it's not. I have a freeze frame of where you can see a piece of the lightning enter my the telephone wire up above my house, and it's the coolest thing. I have to find it. Just watch for a minute. Hold on. This storm traveled from the front to the back. It took like 45 minutes. It was outrageous. And during it, I prayed. I said the Lord's Prayer. I talked about the age of Aquarius. I filmed it from the front porch to the back porch. And after this thunderstorm, which was April 7th, I believe, I felt like I was talking over. It's that I need to record that and make a YouTube video of it for sleeping because it's really awesome. This wire right here, I have a freeze frame of the, you know what? I could find it for you. It's lightning. I will find it. Anyway, and you can see that, and that's, if you watch yesterday's video, you have to go back because I'm not going to show it again. This is what happened on the door after that storm. So it was like I was having a visitation, but a very cool visitation. And here is the after effect of that on the door. So anyway, I know a lot of people don't like to read. I hope you guys think that these are fun. I get a little bit of dry mouth, but we're all good. Now, as the spring of 2020 progressed, you might know from watching that the word and the song breakdown came to me over and over again. It forced me to do all the white paper that I showed you in yesterday's, in yesterday's slideshow. Oops, wrong slideshow. You guys, I know it's personal, but you can see I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, and again, I felt like I was growing wings at that point, so I'm going to take that right off there. I reminded myself of this thing right here. I know it sounds trippy, but it's the truth. Wrong slideshow. Anyway, the song breakdown came out, and as we discussed, it had been played all throughout 2013. And then Prince went on Arsenio and announced it as his favorite song. You can find that and everything. But as I mentioned yesterday, it was interesting to know that the Third Eye Girl chat show that was being done on June 22nd, 2014, said that recording for the song was being done that day. So you can know by that there was something real shady going on. I didn't know that at that time, but I do now. So anyway, this is just to show you, as it went on the spring of 2020, I started researching the letter X. It was referring to Generation X, so named at the time because it was the 10th generation of Americans through 1776. And so that's why I started doing all the 1776 combined with the Beautiful Ones book telling me that the Declaration of Independence had been canceled. So these are the type of things that came to me. That the letter X, swastika or cross, had come to symbolize the very essence of evil. So I found it truly interesting that we were all being asked to stand on it on the floor. But also, what you don't know is that when you take the aleph of the Hebrew alphabet, that the normal block writing to depict the aleph is also the letter X. It's shaped just like an X. I'll show you because up there, see the aleph, it looks like the letter N. What it says is if you're trying to type it manually, you're going to use the letter X. If you're going to do it in cursive, you're going to connect a capital I and a C. So the fact that we're all being asked to stand, those are my Hebrew letters on the wall. A girl does study. Anyway, I found it interesting that we were all being asked to stand on X's, and that it, you know, hold on, my Zoom's all out of whack now. Just a second. Uh-oh. Show must go on. New Samsung Galaxy 21 5G. My son picked it out, said it was a must-have. And guess what? I dropped it. Yes, I did. Anyway, as things went along, I saw this letter X. It was talking about the X and the Madonna and this and that. Now, we all know, picture there. I started seeing Illuminati things. They were all wearing this red and black, and the Korea was coming in, and this was telling me that the music was going to be changed, and that had something to do with Korea. I'm telling you guys. Now, also, what's his name? Kim Jong-un, reportedly dead after botched heart surgery. How many of you paid attention to this? This in the spring of 2020, he was trying to have some kind of surgery or something like this. And this was one of the tweets or something that I had saved off there because it also was in red and black. I can't say for sure exactly what that was, so I'm going to leave that there. I went on to studying things of a Hebrew nature that I did not know about. What I found interesting, you guys, was that we all know that the Creator imbued us with air, breath. It's the first thing that we take when we enter this earth. And come into our flesh vessels. Now, they talk about Noah's Ark here, and it says all subsequent breathing would be the responsibility of the living being. This leads to a rather fascinating observation about how the biblical mind saw the act of breathing. Every single breath was the embodying of the breath of God. Breathing is the most constant activity that we do, at least on a semi-conscious level. Yada, yada. So when they did George Floyd, he's on my neck, I can't breathe, when it's the very core of who we are and the very core of what our Creator gives us, I always say I find that interesting, but that's because I want to leave that thought with you to ponder. Now, I was following COVID and all the different things, and it was talking about how they were using biometric tools with immigrants, so it seemed to me that they were practicing with their biometric tools to use on all of us in FEMA camps and various things like that. Again, some of the writing that I shared yesterday, how the word social distancing was bothering me so hardcore that I did stuff like this. And as you can see, constantly got the 143,413 pi equation. Constantly, even back then. Because I shared those yesterday, I will skim. I want to show you what doing all this looks like. Like that. This was probably a product of not sleeping for, I don't know how long, maybe 36 or more hours, probably something. So I got that far away look, I know. I was studying this mathematician dude, all kinds of Hebrew stuff, to try to, what I was doing was I wasn't so much studying it, but it was like putting together a puzzle. The Creator would hand walk me through. I would jump online again because I didn't watch TV and I don't have to work at the time. I was able to do all of this stuff. And so there's screenshots of everything because it was like I was working as a machine. It was working on energy that wasn't of my own. And so, and it's an immense amount of work. So hopefully it'll make sense to you as it goes through the flow. What I wanted to mention, you guys, is that, you know, everybody's like, Aleister Crowley and alchemy and stay away from this and witches and oh my gosh, burn them at the stake and yada yada. And but King David was considered an expert alchemist. Since he could only have raised 100,000 talents of gold and 1,000 talents of silver for the building of the house of the Lord, there it is, by alchemical means, which is basically chemical, you guys, chemicals. Consider the, what's it? Isaiah's going to get me on that. The whole list of the, you guys know what I mean, where they talk about iron and all their codes and yada yada. It's all chemical energy. Now, as spring of 2020 progressed, man, I was seeing all kinds of things. Paisley Park was telling me everything you see is true. This was my Love Sexy cover. I told you I have a video on here where it depicts the original cover with the original writing, and people were trying to say it was fake, but it's not, because there's my thumb with my ragged hangnail. I don't know what I did with this. I'm so bummed, you guys, but this was the original cassette holder for the Love Sexy tape. Now, this was The Simpsons predictive programming. If you've never heard of that, that's how the NWO and the people that control the media will talk about things in the media ahead of time, and then they will come true. This is obviously Prince being strangled with his guitar. Okay. Now, what's interesting to me right now in what I'm hearing is that when Larry Graham reportedly met with Kirk Johnson and Marone with Prince on the 18th to show off his new guitar, this kind of reminds me of that, because he was showing off that new purple guitar that we've all seen on the media. So that's definitely what that reminds me of. Now, this one tickles me because Prince's Choice Drought Resistant Grass Seed, you might have seen, what is it? The Muppets thing where he's doing the hee-haw thing. That's what that reminds me of. But why drought resistant grass seed is because of Noah's Ark, and because they have used his DNA as he mentions, the inventors of the AccuJack. The AccuJack is one of those penis pumps that was invented for a cow, so that they can inseminate, and do the mating, etc. So if they were using this on our DNA creator to get his seed and to mix it with, I don't know, other creatures, of other people, other things, themselves, I don't really know. All I know is he mentions it in his song, and I'm here to report it to you. Now, it went on to tell me that he was a sad, sad Batman, and they were going to do something bad. And then again, with the arms of Orion, with the whole Orion depiction, I was told I had something to do with that in my soul purpose, that I was part of that Orion constellation or something. Also, here's another one. Very, very tired, very missing in the eyes. I didn't really know what was going on. Here's that disgusting Nene Goose staff candle holder thing that I'm always talking about. Now, I don't want to mess up by using my Zoom. So now this goose is on, when you watch the Easter ceremony, Pope Spring 2020, I thought it was a swan, but I believe it's a Nene goose. And that's the state bird of Hawaii. And it's reaching into a hole in its body, and there's blood draining down, and the blood is going into the little bird's mouth. 3 little birds. Okay. Now, when I was led to watch the ceremony, I was like, man, what is that? And then the top, and you look at it from a different view, sfumato style, like Da Vinci painted, it's the red cardinal cap. It's why the Pope always wears the big red cardinal cap. It's why they say when you see a cardinal, you're seeing the dead loved one. It all goes together. And then there you can see the little birdies a little better. And they're all eating from the 3 grotesque tendrils of blood. Okay. Now, what that reminded me of when I saw it, and I don't have it here, is the One Night Alone CD, where there's the 3 blue eggs in the nest, the sunflower love symbol thing off to the side. Okay, so that's when I made that drawing right there, because that's what that staff was sitting in a candle holder. And then from then out, I started referring to them as Swan. The NWO was Swan, Asia, and Bad Things. Now here, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't know who these people are. I never like to speak badly of people. I am only showing these pictures because this is what happened to me. I was told that Asia was doing like a fake wannabe thing where they were going to make an Asian Adam and Eve, and they were doing some kind of cult Illuminati thing. And then even in the lyrics, I wrote this name, Wu Duan. So I ended up looking it up, and that's why I have it. I didn't know who they were. That's just why they're there. So at the time, Google had this as a meme, and it was all about teaching and learning and the circumference of pi. So I thought that was really interesting too, because again, these all go in order. You've seen my other videos where I mentioned Karani District, Bear Creek Mining Company, Karani Mine. Karani District is so close to what? Corona. Just switch out the I. And being that there's no C or I in the Hebrew, it was strange that there is no C or I. And so then that they had this weird Karani mine. And what it was telling me that it was going to be used like a possible mine with newly collected slaves in a sort of Exodus type situation, because they would be mining for these things. Okay? I don't want to talk too much because even I get sick of the sound of my voice. Thinking. Now look, this is crazy looking, but at the time I wasn't plucking my eyebrows. I wasn't doing anything. I was so focused on what was happening. Nothing else existed. Now, these are the people in the mine in Brazil that look so happy to have the government there taking over their land. Right. Anyway, by this time, yours truly was telling me to watch Mark Metz, and this is cracking me up because that's when I started watching the death investigation and taking all these crazy notes. Now, if you go to YouTube, you guys, I'm going to jump right in. It's tiring to talk and hold the camera. And I can't sip my coffee, so that's a problem. But anyway, everybody has seen these CCTV YouTube videos, okay? But what you may not have noticed, and I posted on my Facebook and otherwise, I think YouTubers don't have Facebook and vice versa. But if you go on and watch the video, you'll be told that you're seeing Kirk bringing Prince to the doctor to see Dr. Schulenberg on his last day on 4/20, getting him medicine, and then they're leaving. However, what I noticed, and you guys can go look this up for yourselves, it's not just my video that does it. This one's a GIF because I put it together from all the shots. But as they were walking through the hallway, you can see that this holographic stuff starts happening. And I have it on freeze frame. Hold on, I'll show you. Let me get my pause button. Whoops. Well, I can't see it. Anyway, one moment. These holograms started appearing in the hallway. Now, you know yourself, if you go and look at it, they're not there one moment. And even when I posted this on my Facebook, I had haters saying, oh, somebody's, doing this or doing that, or even trying to say I could do that. I couldn't do that. But you know what you guys, what does it say? 1999 or 666, right? Same thing. It appears in the hallway. I think there's a 3-minute, 41-second video. Imagine that, pi upside down, 341. And then there's a longer one. However, where they're walking through the hallway here, not only is there nothing there, we don't know who this is. Come on. Okay? Anybody can put on a black hat, a black leather coat, long black pants, and not to mention there was black hair dye in the Peter Bravestrong luggage and call themselves Prince. Okay? Now, he's walking back through and that thing appears. Okay? Not only that, you guys, when you watch the video, this isn't my doing. The video changes. It goes from this color to this color. Just as you're sitting there watching it. So you can tell that they're blending videos. They can try to say it was later in the day, the color changed, whatever. If it was later in the day, why was it later in the day? Because first of all, Kirk wasn't supposed to have left the appointment. However, Kirk did leave the appointment because what he had done is gone to pick up the Valium, the refill on the Valium that was written on the 14th or the 7th. Pardon me. Whoops. Whoopsie. I think I just closed that album. Sorry. I can still go from this one because it's all the same. Anyway, go look at the CCTV video. See, this is another album that I made, but it's a bunch of the same stuff. Also, what was funny about the drought-resistant grass seed is it reminded me of Noah's Ark and the seed, the DNA. You know, it's all about the DNA. You can't do nothing to take us out of here. Man, now I got that wrong slideshow open. Anyway, I'll keep going on from this one. What I would do is I would take screenshots, and what I started to notice here, you guys, was in the writing, C-O-V, and then it also spells out Carver. There was various things showing up in the background that would tell me things, and then as I depicted on the video, I started to see I am him on the hand. And here we were at the Bear Creek Mine and the video. Good girl, get yourself back on track. Yeah, I started even looking up the Minnesota code for missing persons because I felt that they had not identified Prince Rogers Nelson in the file, because everything from the driver's license to the times that each officers were supposed to be with the body, they don't ever really say whose body. But anyway, it goes on and on and on. All these things were being shown to me. It was being told to me as I looked at the beautiful one's picture. I shared with you guys as I discussed the lyrics that he was eternal, that he was woven into the fabric of time, the obelisk of earth, as well as alien-esque, because if you look at his hand in that picture, it becomes like sort of like a claw lobster thing that can really wail on the guitar and bake, do all the things that he does. Bass, all that. Now, what color is the Pharaoh's hand? Shall we find out, you guys? These are pictures from the Beautiful Ones book. Okay. Now, most people, they got a short memory. They'll just glance at the picture and think, that's interesting. Well, let me show you something more interesting. Why is her hand red on his shoulder? Why is she winking one eye, practically? Why is her hand red? Why is the color of the Pharaoh Phaedra's hand red? Okay. Now, also, when you view it sfumato style, you can see that Little Prince here has not just a little kid arm, but that the arm is extra long. Okay. That's why the clothing I showed on the other video, when you go and look at the clothing, that's why the sleeves are long. That's why they dressed like, real royally like that, was to hide the long arms and the various limbs. Morphing limbs. Now, what's interesting also is the shadow on Little Prince's clothing. It looks kind of like Satan, doesn't it? Little horns, little pointy, whatever. So I don't know, maybe the photographer looked like Satan. I'm not sure. The little Satan that we're depicted in this world anyway. Also, up here in the window, it showed me 3 chains of gold. It looked kind of weird, like a weird dark shadow hanging out in the window. And then Pop's finger started to look like a broken pinky to me too, and it was told to me that Taika and Prince were twins. Okay, so those are the things that were being shown to me. Oops, lost my scroll. Also, here's a close-up of that, you guys. It's not just me. It's not just a fluke. Go look at your books. I know that you have them. Now, this is 2 of the same picture that I put together. Now, you can see in this picture, Prince is holding a bunny and some kind of box in his hand, okay? And he's out there by the dumpster, supposedly on set somewhere, and just holding the bunny, being all cute. And there's a note on the bunny. Sorry about my zoom here. Let me try it. Let me be better about it. So, in this picture that I found somewhere else, the bunny, or perhaps 2 bunnies, are separated, but what I found was interesting was this part coming out of the bunny. So it was telling me it was like a claw or like an appendage or something, and then that they covered it in this second photo with the box because it was a mistake. See, I think that this is the real Prince, and this is the fake prints, because all the photos that we see online, they're all edited, or I don't know what they did, but anyway, that's what it told me at the time. This is the one where he sat down and played and was all haunted, and the One Night Alone where there's actually two princes playing. Oops, sorry. And you can see quite clearly shadow in the background of himself, the black and the white, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, but it's all good because it's all by the Creator's hand that we exist in, that you're watching this video now. I'm going to show you something cool. I think this was on one of the concert videos. This was My Tay spinning around. You can see those are her shoulders, back, and hips, okay? But look what's happening over here. As she spun around, this is what started to be in the screenshots of the video. And believe me, I took them slowly, one by one. So as she spun around, somebody can say, oh, that's her clothing. Well, no, it's not. It's the Pegasus shape. It's the butterfly shape. It's the appendages changing. It's the morphing. Look at this one. Now, one moment. I got excited looking. This happens in all the concerts. If you guys have the patience to go and put them on slow-mo, you'll see things like this all the time because, I don't know, because the world that we are, all rushy and everything like that, we always want to see and consume everything in a hurry, so nobody ever wants to take the time to look at anything. Now, as I told you guys before, and you can laugh if you want, it used to be told to me that Paisley Park was like Solomon's Temple, and I was comparing all this concert footage where he would depict to us these various sculptures, and it was in the background of a lot of different concerts and on MTV, and in the one where he was wearing the yellow outfit where it looks like they're, you know, having orgies and stuff like that, because that's what they actually did a lot with the energy when they misuse it. It's like a sexual type energy because the Creator is a perfection, but when they mess with that perfection, they're able to take that energy and harness it for their disgusting bohemian California woods, disgusting things that they do out there. Yeah. Anyway, Solomon's Temple, you see I was studying it, and then that's what it was showing me, was all these things had one thing to do with the other. And that's why we got covers like this, was that this represents our consciousness, and our soul, I think, is like a jellyfish, because our consciousness is like our brain, and everything that connects us to our spinal cord that runs down through our body and our Creator is and of electricity, and that's why we are of energy, and he is able to shapeshift and do these type things. Now, different concert, however, what I want to show you, and because I was at 6 concerts, I know tiny little 5'2" guy would appear out of absolutely nowhere. People that have known him know that he appears out of absolutely nowhere. One moment he's there, the next, you know, he's not, or vice versa. This concert, screenshot, there he is, bam, and then 2 seconds later, there he is, bam. Okay, they were one after the other screenshots. It happens that way. Okay, but what I want to show you is that ours truly was very sad. Very sad. And very much in pain. I used to think they were funk faces, but they're not funk faces. They're faces of a man being electrocuted and tortured and giving his soul and his very essence so that we could hear this message, so that he could lead us to our Bibles and help us to save our souls. Okay? Does this look like... No. Call it passion if you want to. That would be a lie. That's pain. Now, Beautiful One's book again, you guys. When you look at this picture, what's up with the hands? Okay? I'm not going to use my zoom because it messes up. I thought, okay, whose fingers have been chopped off and why are they wrapped in a trash bag? Does anybody ever look really close? Okay? Here's a close-up. What's going on, huh? Right. That was one night I fell asleep and wax melted all over. Things like this. When I saw, like, this is a trip, you guys. This had me questioning my own sanity, I swear. This Valley Church, I saw this opening, this ad. This boy stood back here, looked all kinds of menacing. This dude's holding a knife. And what I see? Starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam. That's what I saw when I saw this, and it looked really, really sinister to me. And then all I saw was how people hide behind their masks, and they were trying to call the kingdom, the JW kingdom. And then it was like end of days. So I got this advertisement or saw it somewhere, and that's what it told me. Something as innocuous as this ad, it was for our local radio station here in Lansing. This ad told me, this is like an old train thing where they would dump coal or something like that. I'm not sure. But it told me that there would be like ammunition hidden in there or something that would be used for crazy purposes. Now, I talked about the electricity, the plans for Ramadan. I don't know how normal this stuff is. This is some screenshots I took of some of that electricity appeared to be wired for some kind of Ramadan occasion. You have to watch the other videos for it to all make sense, you guys. This one might sound kind of scatterbrained. When I was going through the screenshots, I don't want to skip past this. I know it looks crazy, but stick with me and you'll understand. When I would go into the trance, okay, I would go into the trance and I was taken to GPS maps and like, okay, here it is. I don't know where this is. I don't even know how to say it. West Java, Chimahi, I'm not sure. But that's where these pictures are. Now, when I was looking at these pictures, what I was being told in my mind, because I was in that trance place, like a possessed place or whatever, you see how this says Chios Block C? Number 8, it was telling me kids block. Number 8, it was always to the 808. It was telling me that like FEMA camps and stuff were going to take and kidnap kids and keep them in weird lockups in places like this if they were orphaned and during World War III's, and that they used vans like this and stuff like that to hide ammunition and different things. I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried, you guys, like I really couldn't. This picture I know because it's so distant in my memory, but as I was looking at it, it was telling me that it was telling me of cannibalism. That's all I can really say. Here's something on GPS that's interesting. This is how holograms and GPS work. And again, some people can say, oh, so what? It's a mistake. But tell me why this dude is blending right into the ground, why he has no legs. Why is, with all this technology that we have, why? Why is that happening? Because they're messing with it with holograms and different things. This is a picture of Maui that I was looking at on GPS. So if this is a picture and they're not messing with holograms or time, then tell me why the one side of the ocean is all blippity like that and the other side is not. That's where I was, Wailea Beach. Here's another one. You can see where part of the ocean is calm and the other part is not. I pulled these right off the internet, you guys, right off the internet during the trance. It was telling me that because of holograms and holographs and things like that, that they were able to change the way that things would look on GPS. And like, how like when a bank robbery takes place and they stop the camera or make it, on that fancy kind of way. It's how they've been doing it with GPS to make things look a certain way so that when they create the hologram of holograms, that people will think that they're seeing something that they're not. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Also, when I was shooting pictures of these boats that everybody knows out in Maui, it was telling me that surfboards and these boats were hiding like Asian planes and stuff like that. Again, I couldn't make it up if I tried. The Wailea map was reminding me of a slab of beef and how Prince sings about how, have you ever dreamed that somebody's want to chop you up into a million pieces and sell you for a jigsaw puzzle, and that's how they chop up beef. That's the Wailea map, and everybody knows it looks like that big side of beef you see. This video is running kind of long, but I want to get to the point. If you watch the other videos, you guys, I talked about how paranoid I was with all this stuff happening, and that's the lawn getting mowed at the neighbor's house, and I had thought that someone was coming for me. I was tripping out. I'm not playing. This is a depiction of what I saw when I meditated. When I meditated and the creator came to me, I saw this really cool gold light. And then the next day when I was looking around online, I saw it online. So I was like, what the heck? I've got to screenshot that. And that's exactly what I saw come to me in my living room and hang over me and make me feel all warm. I thought it was the candlelight in the room, but it was actually something that looked just like that. Now, I want to point to, guys, something. This is a little bit embarrassing. On one of the other videos, I talked about how I tried to breathe underwater, how I was feeling one with the creator and how the creator is one with the ocean and one with the water. And I was feeling one with the water, and I took a bath and I tried to breathe underwater. I tried to learn to breathe underwater, etc. And then on this weird note I wrote something after I didn't drown. That's how crazy the stuff got, you guys. But I trusted my instinct. I trusted the voice within me, and I just kept plowing. This is my son when he was little in the Prince face, because I thought they looked a lot alike, and I got a lot of messages about things I don't want to talk about right now. These images, you guys, are ones that I have shown before, but if you didn't watch the other videos, you might not have seen them. This was me practicing the keyboard, okay? It's a little bit goofy looking because I want to show you something. Look at my hair. My hair wasn't doing that in the bedroom, but it's doing that in the picture. So what I'm saying is when I say paranormal jacked up situation, it is paranormal. He is there, was with me, and sometimes you can see it in the pictures, okay? So anyway, I was practicing the question of you like I showed you in those other pictures. And to be honest, I don't know how I got this picture because nobody else was in the room with me. I must have had it. Oh, you know what? Because I was filming myself practicing. That's why. So when I went back and I saw those other screenshots where it looked like I had the gun and stuff like that, I also found these screenshots. Now, these are the ones of me in the room by myself that I have showed before and I will show again. Because I think they should get your attention. This is me. Look at my eye. Look at my mouth. Look at how it looks like I have a big hand and a little hand. And I look a little bit frightened. And I look like I could be in a scary movie. Also, it looks to be there's some kind of weird writing up there in there on my head, but I can't make that out. I know they look a little strange, you guys. And this one is another screenshot where I'm clearly holding the number 7. Okay. 7 times 77, the generational thing. Call it a curse, call it a blessing. Maybe it's a little bit of both, you know, but I know that I'm blessed to be here sharing this information with you. This scared the crap out of me when I saw it. I'm not going to lie. This is me playing the keyboard and nothing else. To the best of my knowledge, I wasn't aware of anything else going on in the room with me at all, except for the sheer talent that was going on during the practice. This is me facing that way. My thumb is like I was facing that way to the right. So I don't know what that is. Can't explain it. Like I said, I've showed it before. I do it to get your attention. Again, that's me. Chin is here. My forehead would be here, but I have no idea where my face went. Okay? You can see that's my arm, my shoulder. This is me facing forward. There's my nose. There's my mouth, but I cannot tell you what this is. I cannot explain it. Okay? I just went on to show it in the pictures and take some stills and stuff like that. So what we've been led to believe, and remember I told you guys in the other videos that I would get out of the shower and write on the mirror. I was always doing that. I have so much more to share. So much more to share. But this video is already kind of long and I'm kind of hungry. I don't know if you guys like it this way or not. I think it probably helps you guys to understand the depth of a lot of the things that I have going on here. Let me give you something nice to look at. Here, it's where I stayed when I was in Wailea. This is a resort where all the rich people stay. I was lucky enough to have one of my granddaughters who has a peapod out there, and he's the concierge there. And as I mentioned before, he led us around the whole island of Maui and to do all the beautiful things that there is to do. However, this resort, Wailea, is a private resort, and most of these are owned by rich, famous people who do not like to rent out their properties. However, the lesser of them do, and there are some cheaper resorts. I believe it's Kingdom Hall related. Wailea is AI upside down. It's somehow related to Lahaina and Wailea. It's why all the rich people are buying up parts of Maui, even though the land is of the creator. He is the creator. They want a piece of it. They think they can hide there. Isn't this beautiful? It's a panoramic of the deck there. And I was blessed enough to stay there, and I meditated out there under Orion, and I believe that's where the creator truly attached himself to me. And I took this picture. Isn't it beautiful? The shadow of the thing, and I don't know what kind of flower that is. But when I meditated there under the full moon on the beach, and I vibrated, and I came back to Michigan a whole new woman, I didn't remember any of this stuff until I woke up in the spring of 2020, you guys. And to some, it may sound crazy. It sounded crazy to me at the time. I understand it. I'll be patient with you if you'll be patient with me, and we can discover together. I'm trying to tell you that the creator is coming. He wants part of my job is to introduce you to him, and it's a blessing. And I lack words sometimes. It's amazing to be doing this. It's a little frightening to be doing this. I never feel like I measure up, even though I have been chosen. And I am her. I am her. I'm his other half, the soulmate, the third eye girl, the crazy one, the stalking one. Call me what you want. I don't care. I'm the beautiful one, the righteous one. And I say that because I love myself enough to say it, because he told me that. And he's not a liar. And I'm telling you that you are that too. You have to be honest. You can't be righteous and be a liar. And even when people don't want to lie, I think they find themselves lying. And one lie they think is going to cover another lie. And so it goes the quicksand. And you find yourself further and further away from the Creator instead of closer and closer. When time is coming, you guys, and I'm trying to lead you to Him. And I thank you, as always, for watching. Baruch Hashem. That means bless Lord, bless the Lord, bless God. And Hebrew, Baruch Hashem. Okay? I'm doing the best I can. Bless you. Bye-bye.